Hello everybody, welcome to my channel.
Anni-Frid Lyngstad, the graceful voice of ABBA and beyond. Anni-Frid Synni Lyngstad, known affectionately as Frida, is one of the most iconic and sophisticated voices in pop music history. Best known as a member of the legendary Swedish group ABBA, her rich contralto voice, poise, and emotional depth helped shape the sound of an era. Beyond the glittering success of ABBA, Lyngstad's life and career tell a story of resilience, artistry, and quiet strength. Early life and roots. Anni-Frid Lyngstad was born on November 15, 1945, in Bjørkåsen, a small village in Ballangen, Norway. Her birth came during a turbulent time, the end of World War II, and her early years were marked by hardship. Her mother, Synni Lyngstad, died when Frida was very young, and her father, a German soldier, was presumed dead, though they later met decades later. As a result, Frida was raised in Sweden by her grandmother, who moved there to escape post-war hostility toward families connected to German soldiers. Music became an early refuge for Frida. She began singing in front of audiences as a child, performing jazz standards and folk tunes in her teens. Her deep, velvety voice stood out from a young age, earning her recognition on local stages and eventually on Swedish television. The road to ABBA. By the late 1960s, Frida had established herself as a rising solo artist in Sweden, performing with dance bands and releasing singles that showcased her smooth and expressive vocals. Her breakthrough came in 1967 when she won a national talent competition, leading to a recording contract and appearances on Swedish TV. Her path crossed with Benny Andersson, a member of the Hep Stars, and the two began both a musical and romantic partnership. Frida soon joined forces with Benny, Bjørn Ulvaeus, and Agnetha Faltskog, and thus, ABBA was born. The ABBA era. From 1972 to 1982, ABBA became a global phenomenon. Their infectious melodies, harmonies, and dazzling performances defined the 1970s pop landscape. Frida's voice, blending seamlessly with Agnetha's soprano, brought both warmth and power to ABBA's sound. Frida's performances on songs such as Fernando, Knowing Me, Knowing You, and Money, Money, Money showcased her dramatic expressiveness. She often brought emotional gravitas to the band's bittersweet lyrics, balancing glamour with vulnerability. On stage, her elegance, fiery red hair, and confident stage presence made her one of pop's most captivating performers. Solo career and later work. When ABBA disbanded in 1982, Frida embarked on a solo career that revealed her versatility beyond pop. Her first English-language album, Something's Going On, 1982, produced by Phil Collins, was a critical and commercial success. The single, I Know There's Something Going On, became a global hit, reaching the top 20 in several countries. In 1984, she released Shine, an ambitious album that blended pop, rock, and synth sounds, though it didn't achieve the same level of success. In later years, Frida largely stepped away from the spotlight, focusing on personal life, charity work, and environmental causes. Personal life and legacy. Frida's life has been marked by both triumph and tragedy. She married Benny Andersson in 1978, though the marriage ended in 1981. Later, she married Prince Heinrich Russo Rus of Plauen, becoming Princess Rus and Countess of Plauen. Following his passing in 1999, Frida has lived a quieter life in Switzerland. Despite her preference for privacy, her influence endures. Frida's artistry helped shape modern pop music, and her voice remains one of its most instantly recognizable. With ABBA's reunion in 2021 and the release of their album Voyage, fans once again witnessed her enduring grace and talent. A lasting symbol of elegance and emotion, Anni-Frid Lyngstad's journey, from wartime Norway to the global stage, is a testament to strength, adaptability, and artistic brilliance. Whether singing in the shimmering harmonies of ABBA or delivering heartfelt solo performances, she embodies timeless elegance and emotional authenticity. Her legacy is more than just pop perfection. It is the story of a woman who transformed personal struggle into musical beauty, and whose voice continues to resonate across generations. The early foundations of a star. Anni-Frid Lyngstad's early years were a blend of adversity and artistic awakening. Growing up in the quiet town of Torshälla, Sweden, she found solace in singing. Her grandmother, Anni-Frid Lyngstad, recognized Frida's natural talent early on and supported her ambitions despite financial challenges. By the time Frida was 13, she was performing publicly, often fronting local jazz bands and dance orchestras. Her deep, soulful tone and remarkable stage confidence distinguished her from other young singers of the time. In the late 1950s and early 1960s, Sweden's dance band scene provided fertile ground for aspiring vocalists. Frida performed with ensembles such as the Evold X Orchestra, gaining valuable experience that shaped her professional discipline. Influenced by jazz legends like Ella Fitzgerald and Peggy Lee, she developed a sophisticated vocal style that later became her trademark in pop music. Her breakthrough moment arrived on September 3, 1967, when she won Sweden's national talent competition on the TV show Highlands Horna, coinciding with the nation's switch to color television. Her performance of En ledig dag, A Day Off, captivated audiences and caught the attention of producer Benny Andersson, a fateful connection that would later change music history. From Swedish stardom to global fame before ABBA, Frida had already released several Swedish-language singles and albums, such as Frida, 1971, which showcased her interpretive range and polished vocal technique. Her early recordings displayed a sensitivity and maturity rare in pop music at the time. When she joined forces with Benny Andersson, Bjørn Ulvaeus, and Agnetha Faltskog, her career entered an entirely new dimension. The group, initially performing under the name Bjørn and Benny, Agnetha and Anni-Frid, released People Need Love in 1972. But it was their 1974 Eurovision victory with Waterloo that propelled them into international superstardom and cemented Frida as a pop icon. As ABBA's success soared through the late 1970s, Frida's voice became synonymous with the group's emotional intensity. She often sang the band's more dramatic songs, such as Knowing Me, Knowing You, The Visitors, and The Winner Takes It All, shared lead with Agnetha. Her voice, warm, expressive, and slightly melancholic, provided a perfect counterbalance to Agnetha's brighter tones, creating one of pop music's most perfect harmonies. Beyond her vocal role, Frida was admired for her magnetic stage presence. Whether performing in glittering costumes or delivering emotional ballads, she exuded confidence and elegance. Her ability to communicate both strength and vulnerability made her one of the most respected female performers of her generation. A life beyond ABBA. After ABBA's split in 1982, Frida was determined to carve her own artistic path. Her collaboration with Phil Collins led to Something's Going On, an album that combined pop-rock sensibilities with emotional honesty. The title single, I Know There's Something Going On, reached the top charts in Europe and America, with its haunting chorus and powerful production reflecting Frida's maturity as a solo artist. Her next album, Shine, 1984, experimented with contemporary sounds and introspective lyrics. Although less commercially successful, it remains appreciated by fans for its ambition and sophistication. Afterward, Frida largely retreated from the public eye, choosing to focus on family and personal growth. In the 1990s, she returned to music briefly with Djupa Andetag, 1996. A Swedish language album that translated to Deep Breaths. This deeply personal work reflected her life experiences, spiritual reflections, and emotional resilience. Critics praised it as her most authentic solo statement, showing a contemplative side far removed from ABBA's pop extravagance. Personal resilience and philanthropy. Frida's personal life has been marked by profound love and heartbreaking loss. After her marriage to Benny Andersson ended, she eventually found happiness with Prince Heinrich Roos of Plauen, a German nobleman and landscape architect. The couple lived in Zermatt, Switzerland, where Frida enjoyed a quieter, nature-centered lifestyle. Tragedy struck in 1998 when her daughter, Anni-Frid Lyngstad, died in a car accident, followed by Roos's death from cancer the next year. Despite these devastating losses, Frida channeled her grief into positive action. She became a dedicated environmental advocate and supporter of humanitarian causes, working with organizations such as Artistry for Milho, Artists for the Environment. Her commitment to conservation and sustainability reflects her belief in the healing power of nature, a recurring theme in her later life. A timeless legacy. Today, Anni-Frid Lyngstad is celebrated not only as one-fourth of ABBA but also as an artist of great emotional depth and resilience. Her voice, elegant, grounded, and expressive, continues to inspire new generations of musicians and listeners. When ABBA reunited in 2021 for the album Voyage, Frida's voice once again shimmered with its familiar warmth, proving that her artistry has lost none of its grace or power. The project was a fitting reminder that ABBA's music, and Frida's unique contribution to it, remains timeless. Now living quietly in Switzerland, she occasionally appears at cultural events and continues to advocate for environmental protection and humanitarian issues. Anni-Frid Lyngstad's journey, from a war-born child to a global music legend and noblewoman, is a remarkable testament to perseverance, elegance, and enduring artistry. Her story is not just one of fame, but of courage, reinvention, and the transformative power of music. The artistry of Anni-Frid Lyngstad. Anni-Frid Lyngstad's artistry lies in her ability to convey profound emotion through technical precision and natural elegance. Unlike many pop singers of her era, Frida's voice was rich, dark, and deeply expressive, qualities more commonly associated with jazz and soul vocalists. Her contralto range gave ABBA's music a grounded emotional depth, balancing Agnetha Faltskog's crystalline soprano to create one of pop music's most iconic harmonies. Frida possessed an intuitive understanding of phrasing and dynamics. She could shift effortlessly from tender vulnerability to commanding power, often within a single song. In tracks such as Fernando and The Visitors, she infused every line with nuance and introspection. Her delivery was never showy, instead, it was meticulously controlled, drawing listeners in with its sincerity and warmth. She also had an extraordinary gift for interpreting lyrics. Even in English, a second language for her, Frida captured subtle emotions, allowing audiences to feel every layer of meaning. This sensitivity helped define ABBA's bittersweet tone, joy and sadness coexisting in perfect harmony. Frida's performances in songs like Knowing Me, Knowing You, and One of Us highlighted her ability to embody heartbreak and self-reflection. Her voice often became the emotional center of ABBA's later work, particularly as the group matured from light-hearted pop to more introspective, sophisticated themes. Musical influence and legacy. Frida's influence on modern music can be heard in the generations of female artists who followed her, singers who balance pop glamour with authenticity and emotional intelligence. Artists such as Adele, Florence Welch, and even Scandinavian stars like Robin and Luca Lee have drawn inspiration from ABBA's blend of melody and melancholy, much of which was shaped by Frida's distinctive tone. Her stage persona, confident yet graceful, powerful yet composed, also helped redefine the image of women in pop. In an era when female performers were often expected to fit narrow archetypes, Frida embodied sophistication, emotional honesty, and independence. She projected strength without aggression, sensitivity without fragility, a balance that made her universally admired. ABBA's impact on global pop culture is immense, and Frida's role in that legacy cannot be overstated. Her voice remains instantly recognizable, her performances timeless. Whether through live concerts, studio recordings, or the continued popularity of Mamma Mia! And ABBA Voyage, her artistry continues to resonate with audiences worldwide. Life in later years. In her later life, Anni-Frid Lyngstad chose serenity over spotlight. Living in the Swiss Alps, she has found peace in nature, art, and philanthropy. Though largely private, she occasionally grants interviews where she reflects on her life with wisdom and humility. Frida has spoken openly about her gratitude for ABBA's legacy and her enduring friendship with her bandmates. Despite the challenges of fame and personal loss, she has expressed deep contentment and spiritual growth, describing her later years as a period of reflection and inner peace. She has continued to support numerous charitable causes, particularly those related to environmental protection and children's welfare. Her passion for preserving nature echoes her belief in balance and harmony, values that have guided her both personally and artistically. Recognition and honors. Over the decades, Frida has received numerous honors for her contributions to music and culture. Alongside her ABBA bandmates, she was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2010 and honored with Sweden's Polar Music Prize, one of the country's most prestigious awards. Her recordings have sold hundreds of millions of copies, and her image has become an enduring symbol of the golden age of pop. Yet, despite such acclaim, Frida remains remarkably humble. She often attributes ABBA's success to teamwork, mutual respect, and the universal power of melody. In 2021, the release of ABBA's Voyage album and the ABBA Voyage holographic concert in London reignited public admiration for her. Fans marveled at how her voice, now more mature but still radiant, carried the same emotional intensity that first captured hearts in the 1970s. A voice that transcends time. Few artists have bridged the gap between pop stardom and genuine artistry as seamlessly as Anni-Frid Lyngstad. Her story, spanning war-torn beginnings, global fame, personal tragedy, and spiritual rebirth, reflects a life lived with courage and grace. Her voice, a blend of warmth, melancholy, and quiet strength, continues to speak to listeners decades after ABBA first took the world by storm. Whether through the soaring harmonies of Dancing Queen or the haunting beauty of The Day Before You Came, Frida's contribution to music remains immeasurable. Today, Anni-Frid Lyngstad stands as more than a pop legend. She is a symbol of resilience, artistry, and timeless elegance. Her legacy is not only in the songs that defined generations but also in the spirit with which she has lived, dignified, introspective, and forever devoted to the transformative power of music.
Bye bye. Thanks for watching. Bye.